pulling away from those teams, because I'm going to list them off very quickly, and we're going to sort of count where they are in this tournament, Johnny. We've got Kansas City Pioneers, who are out. We've got the Peeps, who are in the lower bracket. We've got, obviously, Rogue and G2, who we're seeing play right now in the upper bracket. Alpine Esports, who are out.
Yep.
It's a pretty good chance that whoever wins this will be the only team that is in this very difficult area of that top 6 to still be in the upper bracket and be able to start to pull away from everyone else.
Yeah, this, like Chicago said in the interview, it's their big chance. Oh, that was already, though, the biggest chance of the game, and Toroko has missed it. That was wide open on the rebound. He did so well to get in that position, but you got to score those. You got to hit that underneath the bar, and that was absolutely a shot that a player at Toroko's level should be scoring blindfolded. You know, he should be scoring that with his monitor off, but you know, they're not going to get many opportunities like that today, I imagine. Like Chicago said, G2 in their best form yet. They defended fantastically. And, you know, throughout this season, whenever G2 have looked at their best, they've still been shaky in defense. But now they've figured it out. They've actually defended really well in their recent grid win without losing any of their offensive potency.
I think there was any team that came in this season is Torrentoro. Wow. What a setup to First Killer. We've seen First Killer score some bangers, but when it's delivered to him like this, he doesn't need to.
Oh, that is just disgusting. Torrentoro could not have hit that pass any better than he did. Crazy to get that to go back the way it's coming. G2 were expecting him to hit that into the wall a second time because it's so much easier to get that solid contact on the ball. For Torrentoro to just get a glancing blow like that, completely surprised the defense. And crazy that First Killer had the faith in him to do exactly what he did there. I mean, that shows the high expectations that First has. Torrentoro's assists.
What a setup and what a start that is for Rogue. Here's Rizzo. Infield pass had nothing on it. Torrentoro probably had it covered anyway.
Oh,
there is JNabs, and he just chips the ball over the defenders.
That is a really good shot by JNabs. Gotta wonder what First Killer's doing here in this weird position, like slightly off the line at the near post. First Killer is a legendary goal line defender. You'd expect him to save this, but he's slightly out of position. Now, he was trying to stay safe from any potential demos. That's why he's hugging the near post like that. But why be off the goal line? It doesn't really help him in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter what kind of pass or shot comes across. You'd rather be about half a car, maybe a full car length further back.
Those ones sting an awful lot more when you've scored a goal of the quality that you did. His First Killer caught into action. That one much better. Now across the face of goal. Chicago just leaving his car out there, hoping that the attempted clear is just going to bounce straight into him.
Oh, wow.
And there is another whiff, this time from Torrentoro. What clear from JNabs. It's going to force a very boost-starved Toroko over to his own corner. He's not going to be able to pick up that 100 either. Going to make his recovery and attempts to get back take even longer. And Chicago to Rizzo, who can turn. Now G2 probing, but the whole of Rogue not making any major mistakes, and they are out. That's not really dealing with much of anything offensively.
Yeah, that was a good stalling by Rogue in defense. You know, all those touches that they were making were too awkward for G2 to immediately follow up on. That slowed down the G2's attack long enough for them to stabilize. Still though, G2 are playing very patiently. This is what we've been hoping to see from them. If they, if they're going to bring their insane grid performances into RLCS Season X, it all starts with defense. I think it ends with defense as well. It's just all about defense for G2. If they can go an entire series here against Rogue without overextending with their third man, that's a warning sign. That's a really, really scary sight for the entire North American scene. Because we already know G2's offense is one of the best, if not the best, in the entire region. And this is a free chance for Rizzo. Toroko goal side of it. JNabs in field instead of going up the wall. But Rogue are also holding on extremely well here, Shoga. We got a bad save earlier on by First Killer, but they've stepped it up, and now they've got pressure on G2.
It's been a very clean game of Rocket League from both of these two teams. Obviously, the one mistake earlier on, but
yeah,
one mistake in Rocket League across 3.5+ minutes. That's not a bad ratio at any level of this game. Chicago tries to just tap it down, give his team a bit of a chance. Rizzo in the 2v1. That's not the flick he would have imagined in his mind. Both these teams all tied up. 1 minute left here. It's these sort of very tight, very clean games that can really set the pace for a series if you can get that to go your way. Pass to Rizzo. He's going to just tap it behind Turinturo. Wouldn't be where Turinturo would have expected that to go. I think this is the sort of game right now, Johnny, where the real winners are the coaches.
Yeah, I think especially G2's coach, Shazzo, is going to be delighted with what he's seeing. The strategy's been spot on for G2. You know, they got outplayed by one unbelievable pass by Turinturo earlier on. That's fair enough. You know, that happens. There's nothing wrong with the G2 strategy there. They just got outplayed. But, you know, they're not overextending. They're playing very, very calmly. They're creating opportunities for themselves. And it's just all about the execution now, especially on Rizzo's part. He's been in the right place pretty much every single attack G2 have made, but the actual shots and flicks have not been at his usual standard. It's just a matter of, you know, putting the pieces together now for G2, playing with the kind of consistent touches we're used to seeing from them.
Turinturo goes straight for net, wants to see if there's a mistake available. Chicago tried to play a little bit more than usual, and that was a major chance. That somehow went whistling away. And now it's Rizzo with his opportunity. Instead, Chicago off the backboard. JKnaps, he's never missing that. Well, for as clean as regulation was, overtime was chaos.
That just doesn't make any sense at all. I have no idea how Rogue missed this. I was wondering if perhaps Rizzo was threatening a bump on someone or threatening a demo. He wasn't even close. Rizzo just...
Did you have his POV? Because I did not.
I did. Yeah, I did. I switched to Rizzo's POV here. He didn't have any boost. He tried to get a very, you know, soft touch with the pre-flip, missed the ball, and then no one made contact at all. As far as I could see with any other cars, there were no bumps in this position. And Rogue somehow missed the clear. I don't know how. You know, Rizzo missed because he didn't have any boost. It was kind of awkward, but were Rogue also boost starved here? This just didn't make any sense.
Well, we're going to hope to maybe get a second chance to see it this time. JKnaps earlier on, one mistake that we saw in regulation was his opportunity to try and score it. And, well, here's a goal.
Chicago get this. Did he actually get a really nice touch on that? You know, I've got to...
Chicago did backflip into it.
Yeah, it might have been on the wrong POV there. I was on Rizzo's POV to see what happened from his perspective, but really he just flew past the ball.
If you suddenly see in the top left, Johnny Boy has left the game, it's because he's rushed over to the replays to try and check out what happened there.
I forgot to save it. My bad.
Well, they'll all be out there eventually. They always are.
It could have been Chicago. It could have been. It could have been a really huge play by him. You know, if he got a touch on that, then fantastic stuff by Chicago, because Taroko was lunging in. I can't imagine that Taroko was missing a ball that was barely moving. So there has to be something more to this. Looked like Chicago got a very nice assist there at the end of the game. Great stuff. G2 clutching it up.
So here we go. Game number 2. Taking the overtime out, as JKnaps will be the first one to try and test the defense. Very good game from both teams, at least in terms of fundamentals and what you'd want to see at a bare minimum from teams of their caliber. Now we need to see what makes these teams special. What makes these teams the top of the region. Rizzo going to take his time, given a lot of space by JKnaps, who shut it down himself, instead sets up his own teammate, and there's 2 players there! Turinturo couldn't read it. First killer covered it. That is one of the most horrid positions I've seen one of the defenders in. You got 2 players up for it. You're trying to read which one's got it, and neither of them do.
Yeah, it's just a really difficult part about playing G2. You expect consistent touches from them, so whenever a miss does come through, it's almost as effective. And it turns to his flip reset, almost on target. First killer didn't read exactly where that one was headed towards, so he didn't get the right position for saving it. Or following up, rather, but look at that from Rizzo. Perfect time demo, and almost gave JKnaps an open net to shoot at. Unfortunately, he's rotated straight into Chicago on the way back out, so that's going to slow down the attack and give a chance for Rogue to get something going.
That is something that Rogue needs to start looking out for, though. That's not the first time the third man has been demoed. JKnaps with a shot. Again, Chicago goes hunting, and it is going to go in off it.
What? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This is not the best defensive display that we've ever seen from First Killer. He's just own goal. That was not going in. He has just pre-jumped this and then found himself in a position where all he can do is own goal. If he'd stayed on the ground, just waited to see what kind of bounce is going to happen, he could have easily cleared this. Yeah, again, First Killer making a mistake in defense. This is so rare to see once in a series, but 2 games in a row, I don't think I've seen this at all in this season from First Killer.
Looks to try and redeem himself on the other side of the ball, but he is completely out of boost. Taroko demoed off, trying to at least pop it to safety. best touch there from JNaps. It's past the first killer. Chicago has to keep it away. Far too many defenders for Rogue to outplay all of them. As Rizzo, he is targeted. They are loitering right now. Rogue have got no control of this final third.
Yeah, Rizzo, I mean, he was just in the right place. He landed on the Rogue goalkeeper. I'm sure he would have stuck around anyway to bump the goalkeeper had he been in control of his car, but he just looked up with ball cam, sees it flying towards himself, and gets a cheeky little touch to make sure that it will not be saved. And yeah, well played by G2 again. It's a very similar story to the first game for them in offense. You know, a first killer mistake gives G2 the lead, but G2's pressure really earning it, you know, really forcing the mistake. So it's not all a blunder from first killer. There is, of course, G2 playing well to force it. But yeah, there's no questions. G2's class really setting up the second goals for them in the last game and this one. Chicago assist. Now Rizzo with a goal. But oh, this one's sneaking on through. Taroko will get the credit for it. G2 maybe a bit too casual in defense after the bump came through on 2 players at once.
Yeah, if you're going to control the ball, make sure that a player called First Killer isn't right next to you. He is going to go very angrily into your car.
So yeah, like you said, it's all about that first touch. Rizzo, a bit too heavy on the first touch, invited the bump towards himself. Yeah, that's the first real punish that's come through from Rogue on a G2 misplay. There's been a few G2 misses which haven't been read and haven't been capitalized on by Rogue, but I guess they've decided they might as well just start to predict these or start to be at least ready for them if they do happen. Because G2 are not playing a perfect series at all. They're not playing the cleanest Rock League they've ever played. They're still far and away better than Rogue in this series though. Rogue don't look anywhere near as threatening as they usually do. And defensively, to see First Killer make 2 mistakes, I mean, that's already all you need to know about them. Rizzo makes it 3-1. Just too easy for G2, Shogun. Too much space for Rizzo to exploit in the final third.
Yeah, just on the far side. And we all know that G2 can find themselves a pass. Comes instinctively to them, and when they are playing like this. Offensively, I do like the mix-ups that they are going for. There's a lot more trying to control on the first touch, and that does mean that when they finally got the passing option and try and just put the ball over to them, it's going to make it that much more effective because we have seen teams get hard reads on G2's offense on occasion where it's just, all right, follow where the ball is right now and follow where the attacking player is. Then just take an eye down the line as Rizzo's got himself a hat trick. Rogue, for their own part, will be none too pleased about this defense as Turinturo is thrown for a loop.
Yeah, well played by Rizzo there. Completely fooling Turinturo, who's flopped right by the challenge without any solid contact on the ball. And that's really why you need to be flipping into the ball on these dribbling plays, air dribble plays. You can't just fly right by and expect to beat G2. G2 are completely destroying Rogue. And it makes me wonder why on earth Gibbs thought Rogue were the favorites here, because I think G2's recent run speaks for itself. They crushed it in the grid. Rogue have been not really putting up the performances anywhere near the level that they did at the end of 2020. And yeah, this is a good look for G2. They've played a very safe third man today, and their offense is still looking terrifying.
Quick reminder as well that there will be a very happy Peeps waiting in that lower bracket. There's an opportunity here, Johnny, for whoever loses this. If they can beat Xset and Peeps win their matchup, we could have whoever loses this up against the Peeps with what could effectively be a top 6 spot on the line, especially if it ends up being Rogue that drop down. I think G2 might just have enough to stay away from dropping out just yet. And seeing this, if it is going to be Rogue, Peeps will be pretty delighted with what they've seen from the defense. JNap's hard read. Doesn't want to give himself more goals. I'm sure he doesn't want to be in the same lobby where Rizzo's got 3 goals and he's only got 1. But again, Rogue have got nothing. Bounces off. JNaps looks for the angle and Chicago steals it. He's going to get the next hat trick, not JNaps.
Yeah, JNaps showing First Killer what an accurate shot looks like here. That's how you hit the target from a tighter angle. JNaps giving it to Chicago there. I guess Chicago is just there to make sure that the goal would go in uncontested, making sure there's no chance for a goalkeeper to bump that one clear. But wow, Rogue look rough. They don't look confident. It looks like they've lost their mojo, because when they were, you know, making that deep run in the first, or at the start of the winter split, I think they even beat G2 in one of the previous regionals pretty comfortably as well. That was, you know, the first sign of, you know, maybe Rogue turning a new leaf. They, you know, they picked up Taroko, and it seemed initially like every team who picked up, you know, one of the team that was formerly Plot Twist, any of those players, all their new teams were playing so well, and it looked like they'd really figured it out, finishing off fourth place, sorry, in regional number 1, and then even better in regional number 2. But it hasn't really continued into regional 3 at all. It hasn't continued into the new year. Rogue's confidence is not there, and I'm really quite confused by that, to be honest, Shogun, because they've definitely got a team full of mechanical players. They've got a bit of experience under their belt now as well, and you know, they've had results against G2 within the very last regional event that these two played. But what has happened to Rogue here? I just don't even know. I've never seen First Killer look this rusty, and the rest of the team are not ready to step up and fill his shoes.
Well, you spoke about confidence just there. We do know one player that is full of confidence, and that is Rettles. And he'll be full of it as Space Station Gaming move on past the Sonics 3-0 over on our B stream. So that is our first winners semi-final now secured. NRG against Space Station Gaming to see who will make it through to the winners finals.
Yeah, it's a great series. I would go ahead and predict already that we might see a G2 versus Space Station winner final in this tournament. You know, NRG, they haven't looked at the usual level for them as well. I think not in as dire straits as Rogue are. Rogue, obviously, since Regional 2 of the winter split and now have really deteriorated, whereas NRG have only fallen off maybe a slight touch. But yeah, G2 and Space Station in the most recent grid looked phenomenal. G2 obviously winning that final 4-1 over Space Station Gaming. But it should be interesting either way. The Big Four finally looking like the Big Four, and it's really G2 to thank for that, because before now, it was the Big Three in North America for RLCSX events, for RLCSX regionals and majors. G2 weren't really a factor, but this is much better from G2. It's all it really took was for them to play a safe third man, and they don't have any dedicated third man. No team in Rocket League does these days. It's just the proper identification of roles in every position that they're in. Whenever Rizzo is last man back, he's sitting deep enough. Whenever JNAPS and Chicago are last man back, they're also sitting deep enough to prevent Rogue from getting any freebies on counterattacks, any freebies from long shots and hard clears. But whenever they can move in, they're still doing that. They're still playing that three-man offense. They're just picking their moments much more carefully, and that for me is really terrifying, because G2's offense already the best in America, I would say, and their defense is more than capable. We might be seeing the regional winners in this series here, Shogun.
Yeah, certainly so. Quick update to everybody. We've currently got a player issue that we're trying to get resolved, so we are going to go to a break whilst we get that sorted out. When we come back, it is 2 wins to G2, nothing here for Rogue. We're going to get back in, get into game 3. Welcome back to RLCS X Games. We are here with G2 versus Rogue. G2 coming into this, currently 2 games up. We've managed to get all the players herded back into the lobby, Johnny, and we get ourselves ready for game number 3. We're not too sure what's going on with that, but what we will say is that Rogue could probably have done with that break.
Yeah, especially first killer, the hard carry for Rogue.
It's not the start you want.
Traditionally, yeah, they want to just see more from First Killer, really, but at the same time, Rogue have been asking so much from First Killer throughout the entire season. It's almost expected at this point that he's going to hard carry and do everything that he needs to do in defense for his team, be the monster in the midfield who never gives the ball away, you know, reads the game to perfection and just doesn't miss any opportunities. Today, you know, we've seen him miss a few touches. He's, I think, the main reason why Rogue went 1-0 down in both games. So yeah, First Killer needs to step up if Rogue are going to have a chance here, but I think that also just highlights one of the weaknesses of Rogue. They do rely on First Killer more than any other top team in NA relies on a single player.
Great block there from Taroko, but they're going to have to withstand that typical G2 offensive onslaught. Chicago is just going to leave this for the time being, calling in JNaps to try and help them out. And see just how quick G2 are to start locking down that midfield. Up goes Chicago. Power shot.
Ooh.
Rizzo puts off the backboard one more time. They didn't quite have JNaps available. If that was a three-person play, that could have been horrible for the Rogue defense. That is the threat. That is always going to happen from G2.
Oh, wow.
Up down to Chicago. What a save that is.
That was just beautiful from G2. They were passing the ball around back and forward. We saw the back pass, and then they bring the ball back into attack. Another infield pass comes in. All these passes connecting for G2, and they're just like running rings around Rogue the entire time. So this is a great look for G2, and the reason why is because their execution hasn't been perfect today. Some of their hits haven't been solid, and we've even seen a couple of miss hits and complete whiffs. But strategically, G2 look phenomenal. Rogue are not in the same division right now as G2, and to see such a gulf in class is pretty crazy, given the last time that these two played, right at the end of the last year, in Regional 2 for the winter split. Rogue beat G2 4-1. And now G2 look like they're a completely different animal. Credit to the coaching and to all the G2 players for figuring out the puzzle here, because they can actually be so much better than what we're seeing right now if they just execute on their mechanical play as well as playing this strategy to perfection.
JNaps can't quite get it past Taroko, but they do look for the backboard one more time. Make sure that that's not going to bounce over the top of Rizzo. Double tap from him, sets up Chicago, rough angle, and Rizzo tried to just guide it in off that backboard. You just don't know where the G2 players are. They are going to constantly attack from any angle they can find.
Yeah,
Blocked
smart
from
from
Taroko,
Rizzo.
that's going to give them some time.
I think twice this game Rizzo saved a teammate's shot, and it might look strange thinking why is Rizzo saving shots for Rogue when Rogue have been struggling today to save their own plays, but oh my goodness, dude, that's the wrong goal.
Oh, double demo!
Oh my!
There's no one left!
Well, that was a real surprise. Double demo, look at this. Coming out from first killer. It's rare to see that much momentum in the way of Rogue this game. But they didn't need many chances. That was the first real opportunity that they've had all game, and they've taken it. At the other end, G2 have been, just trying to keep the possession, but unable to score up until now.
Not for the first time, first killer getting success. Looking for the cars. That's not the best clear from Rizzo. Torrentoro, double tap, couldn't find it off the backboard, but the clear's not good enough. First killer reads it, and that is 2-0. Torrentoro would have wanted that one in. Didn't matter in the long run.
Yeah, G2 deserved to be scored on there. Taroko could have scored, he hit the bar. First Torrentoro could have scored, he hit the bar as well. And then a bit of a panic clear for G2 results in another goal for first killer. But overall, G2 have, I think, played well this series. They've been caught cold and caught flat-footed there a few times in defense. But I think that they're still going to be just fine in this matchup. They need to just keep doing what they're doing. It is working. They're getting opportunities to score. The Rogue haven't made any big defensive mistakes here, so that's a step up from the previous two games. Apart from that, G2 still look threatening.
We've got 1 minute to put chances into the net. Otherwise, we are going to go to game 4. Drop down pass. Well read by first killer, but even he wasn't quick enough.
Uh-oh.
How a miss from Torrentoro. Is this going to be the start that G2 need? No. JNaps caught between a shot and a pass. Ended up being neither.
And it should have been a goal there for JNaps. That's usually the type of range that he just blasts shots in the top corner from. Rizzo shows him how it's done. And with 34 seconds left, G2 finally get the goal that they've been working for. Panic in the defense for Rogue, and JNaps destroys Taroko to make sure that it was open.
I don't think he's going to care too much about which blue car he demos anymore. Everyone is first killer after that double demo earlier on. 32 seconds left. No mistakes allowed here for Rogue. Booming clear. That's going to leave JNaps to try and get rid. He's managed to even get it over to Rizzo. Everything for G2. Always looking to try and string together their next offensive play. Is JNaps too far forward here? No, the lack of contact from Rogue means that they are still in a bit of trouble.
Oh.
First killer gets whacked by JNaps, but there is no follow-up here for G2. Instead, it means first killer's on the other side of the field. He would have wanted to score it. Now it's up to G2. They've got to keep this up the whole way. They will not be able to do so. Rogue have got one back.
So Rogue are going to get a game here where they don't make a huge defensive mistake, and that really did put the pressure on G2 a bit. They've had 3 goals to open the scoring in game 1 and 2. Now they don't get any freebies, and Rogue actually put a couple past them. Interesting series here. I still think if G2 just up the execution on their mechanical abilities, then they're going to be way ahead of Rogue in this matchup. But yeah, the mistakes do keep coming through occasionally. You know, the consistency for G2 isn't quite the same as what it was earlier on. What a double demo though by First Killer to open up the scoring. That's brilliant stuff by him. But yeah, both teams have they've definitely missed the target with many shots here. Actually, even the second goal that Rogue have scored there came after 2 shots were sent into the bar unnecessarily. So yeah, striking not as accurate as it could be, but with the goalkeeping being expected at such a high level, players know they need to hit absolutely perfect shots in top corners, in off the bar, and obviously that additional pressure of expectation from what the other team is capable of on the goal line. You are going to get a few more mishits, and you are going to get a few more misses. But yeah, G2, they got to get this closed out 3-1, Shogun. How they played today, they should be winning this 3-1. They've given Rogue 1 game. Let's see if they can close it out now.
Currently weighing in that upper semi-finals, Space Station Gaming, Team Envy, and NRG, the 3 that we've got very used to seeing over there. Toroko's not going to miss that. No challenge, not even attempt to save it. G2 will expect better from themselves next time.
That is brilliant by Toroko. In a series which has been full of crossbars for Rogue, he hits on straight in without any chance of a goalkeeper saving it. Not without a crazy pre-jump anyway. Yeah, G2 allowed that one to go on target without anyone challenging the shot, and that's rare to see. You know, I wouldn't expect that too much from them. Look at JNaps though. He's gone all the way himself, 1-1, and it's a dribbling play from JNaps. Just a bit too fast in the recovery there, and I think not something you can expect a Rogue defender to do much against. That was really quick by JNaps to go past 2.
The only thing Rogue would want next time is to make sure they're coming in from the goal angle rather than a wider position for JNaps to cut it in from. 30 seconds gone. We've already been treated to 2 goals. Torrentoro wants to try and make it 3 here. A very quiet game in game number 3. Now, I want a bit more this time around. We've already seen what he was capable of after a phenomenal setup for our first goal in this series. The backboard, Torrentoro gets into the corner. That opens up First Killer. Really do some damage here, but that one's not going to be for him. Torrentoro, his opportunity, leaves it for First Killer and somehow kept out by G2.
Yeah, that's a great save by JNaps. Doing his team a huge favor there, because it looks like First Killer's woken up now. He's at the center of every play that's been happening since the last kickoff. But nobody's in the middle for him. First Killer had a lot of time to call that pass, but no one was moving up to help him out in that last play. And now Rogue have got nobody challenging Rizzo. He decides to go towards the corner with this. I think he was playing for a flip reset there. It was a tough position to land on the ball in. JNaps denies First Killer in the offensive corner. And actually, a real mess in defense for Rogue here. Toroko just flipped past the ball with no pressure on him. Chicago manages to avoid double touching that one into his own net. It's end to end. This is more what Rogue are looking for. They don't want to get boxed up in their half by G2. But will they be able to continue to play with consistency in a series which has been a bit problematic for them up until now?
I think Rogue will be very happy with is that they're not allowing as many on-the-ground freebie first touches, as that one could have been very awkward. Toroko takes the challenge, just pops up very nicely for Torrentoro. Instead, this is turned less into G2 taking the first touch they would typically like to, and more into a booming battle of who can clear better. G2 would like to think that that's them. JNaps just gives it over to Chicago. Is he going to look for the net? He does. And that is the reason why your positioning's got to be so good for Rogue. They cannot afford to try and pre-jump that, because the option is there. Up till Chicago actually making contact, he can go backboard, he can put it infield, or he can go for net. As we do see first killer threatens Rizzo. First killer didn't even jump for it, and Rizzo held his nerve so well.
Yeah, great save by Rizzo. He was under pressure from a demo that was coming towards him. He kept his cool. G2 are starting to control the ball and dribble it out of defense a bit more now. They're playing for that passing that they are so well known for. But Rogue haven't made any mistakes in defense yet. That's a massive step up for them in consistency after the first 2 games that we saw. It's a great response from them. It looks like that little downtime was utilized well. They've got the reset. Still G2 refusing to get baited into this clear ball simulator that Rogue are looking for. JNaps alone at the back post, but unable to put a shot on target. Now first killer is actually cleared towards Chicago, who goes sideways. G2 still playing keep away, but Rogue are playing keep up quite well.
Rizzo only out to first killer. He'll trust himself to try and take that the whole way, but the ball just got away from him. And there will always be that threat there for G2. You can see Rizzo has taken a long time to come back to the defensive side of the rotation. He trusts his teammates to cover that for him. Rogue always need to keep an eye just behind them. Make sure nobody has crept in to become a good passing option there for G2. Instead, it's Torrentora that's the passing option. Takes a first touch. Wouldn't have been expecting that, but G2 reacted very well. Altaroko. It was an infield passing play, but that was more out of muscle memory than it was for anyone actually around. 30 seconds left here, Johnny. A goal for Rogue sends us to Champions Field.
That's a miss from Rogue. First killer just flies right by, and that's given G2 an opportunity, which they will not decline. And oh dear, it's been one of those days for first killer, but he's done it again. And leaving his team with that much pressure to defend against is too big of an ask. 27 seconds remain in game 4. G2 trying to send Rogue to the lower bracket.
First killer up to the bounce off the wall from the kickoff. They need something around here. There's not even that 100 boost for first killer to try and steal. JNaps up as high as he possibly can be. You can see Torrentora desperate just to get this ball back down to a teammate. 10 seconds on the clock. Rogue need a chance here. First killer, he's being a hassle. He's being the goal scorer that Rogue needed.
Wow, what a dunk by Taroko. First killer's disrupted every defensive player that was remaining for G2. And then he puts the ball over the top of them. 2-2, clutch from first killer. What a redemption story that is. It was him who got his team in trouble in this game, but he saved them. All credit to Taroko as well with the assist. Huge dunk on Rizzo in the back corner.
So Champions Field, or are we done here? Torrentora just make sure he can secure that 100 boost. They're going to want as much of that as they possibly can do. As that is slipped underneath. Taroko glides the ball into the back of the net. Game 5, here we come.
Wow, Taroko just faster to the ball than JNaps. And it was him who got his team the lifeline to come back into this game. G2 had all 3 players in defense with just seconds remaining in regulation time, but Taroko got a massive dunk on Rizzo. A bit too greedy there by Rizzo as overtime approaches to try and go for an outplay instead of just getting behind the ball and flipping into it safely. That is questionable, but you know, credit to Rogue. They took their chances and they've punished G2 for taking a risk that really wasn't necessary at the end of that game. Getting the win here against the run of play as well, because G2's switch up to really focus on dribbling out of defense was causing Rogue some problems. You know, the clear ball simulator came to an end, and Rogue weren't getting anywhere near as many chances as they did earlier on in the game. But well played, Rogue. That's just another nightmare situation for G2 now. They've been in this spot so many times. They probably should have won this series by now, but Rogue are still in it. And although they haven't played as defensively solid as we're used to seeing from them, they're into game 5. Now, anything can happen. Loser goes down to that lower bracket where nobody wants to be, especially this early in the competition. The winner gets into the semi-finals on the upper.
I do want to give Rogue a huge amount of credit to how they seem to have adapted and downloaded that first touch. Dribbling out from defense play style we've seen from G2, because they're now no longer trying to chase after the ball. They're more trying to grab the tail end of it, get a hold of the player, remove them. So that first touch usually just pops up, and by the time the car's gone, there's nobody left for G2 to keep that one going. Chicago waits for first killer, wants to make sure he will bite. Torrentura now tasked with guiding this one out of the blue side of the field, and he has done so very well. Up to the side, Toroko, hero of the last game, looks to try and make his mark on Champions Field. It's a tentative start here, both teams trusting in their solo plays. This could be the first chance here for G2, shut down by first killer. JNAP's on the follow, what a save from Toroko, cleared by first killer.
Yeah, huge save there. Rogue probably expected a better shot from JNAPs there, but they'll take the shot that came their way. Oh, JNAPs! It's a Chicago now. That was ridiculous. I don't think Chicago knew a lot about that double touch attempt, but he really wasn't far off scoring what would have been goal of the day there. And he will score here, surely, if he wants JNAPs. Oh my goodness, Toroko! How has he saved that? Point blank range. JNAPs just fired it at him, but Toroko gets in the way with a crazy pre-jump read.
Well, Toroko's been hiding his side job as a mystic from us. I don't know how on earth he has kept that one out of his team's net. But here we are, still 0-0.
Well, we were saying earlier on, it's almost impossible to see anybody filling first killer's shoes on Rogue whenever he doesn't show up. But how about that from Toroko? 2 unreal saves. That's what you need from someone when first killer's not playing his A game today. Now a chance for Turo. He's misread it. Toroko's at the bar. That was
he's still at net 0.
Chances. Well, he's got the defense, but the accuracy and offense has let down Rogue once again.
I have no idea how we're at 0-0, but that just seems to be the way of things right now. Chicago looks to try and fight it for a time. Toroko, it's bounced off him. It will go down as an own goal, but it was forced by Chicago.
After Toroko saved that shot earlier on, I bet he went to, he hit that keybind auto save replay at the end of the game. Right now, he wishes he did it. This replay's not getting saved, ladies and gentlemen. Completely unnecessary own goal there for Toroko. He was on the wrong side of the ball. He's off the goal line. I mean, there's nothing you can do except own goal when you're in that position, and that's just careless. What a shame after playing so well up until that point, but now G2 lead by 1 goal again. Chance for Rizzo to make it 2. His shot's too slow and wide. Toroko's there to guide it into the corner. Still 2 minutes remaining. Rogue are able to clutch it up in the last game. Can they do it again?
Toroko just tries to find his way out. G2 have locked them down for quite a while here. His first killer hits long, steals some boost. And that's going to drop down, but for who? Rizzo couldn't quite beat Toroko on the challenge. Now first killer, that's a great pass. It's Toroko! And he stays at a net 0 for his goals contributed this game.
I just don't even know what's happening right now. How have G2 conceded this? They had the entire team in defense. The ball has rolled in slow motion into the middle, and no one is there to save it. I think Rizzo had 12 boosts, so he couldn't really get on the end of it. But really, what was JNAPs thinking? Just lunging into the corner there, leaving Rizzo alone in defense. Now it's wide open.
What is happening?
What? Turn 0 scores, but my goodness, Toroko is not having the best day with his accuracy and offense. That is another open net miss. Thank goodness Turanturo's there to put it in for him.
Oh my goodness. I can only imagine just how shaky Toroko must be right now. Well, somehow, some way, Rogue are 2-1 up. And if G2 go on to lose this, they'll have no idea how it happened. They looked so good in our opening 2 games. They smashed Rogue in game 2. Now they are looking at an opportunity of a match against Xset. That could have been 3-1. Torrenturo back into the midfield, but it's only to JNAPs. Nobody available this time around. That's where you typically want Rizzo waiting on that backboard, getting a couple of demos, maybe just hassling where the ball actually is. That's another demo on the goal line. Torrenturo didn't want to take it, recognized that the attempted block was coming in. 50 seconds now, Johnny. And G2 Esports are the one that need to score.
Yeah, I don't know how G2 have found themselves in this position. Their strategy today was fantastic, but they're just getting undone now. First killer shot cannot be defended because Toroko has bumped the last man out the play. Or it's Torenturo actually. He's fallen straight into Chicago here, or straight into Rizzo, sorry. Great stuff there. Assist off the ball from Turinturo, and Rogue lead by 2. G2 have only got themselves to blame here. They've thrown away game 4. They've thrown away a lead in game 5. And now Rogue are looking to send them into the lower bracket against the run of play, against all odds. Absolutely bizarre series. Still time left for G2, but they look like they've completely had the wind knocked out of their sails.
Second touch from Turinturo. Just waste that little bit of extra time. And it has been the strategy change here from Rogue that has worked so well. They have aimed for the cast so often from G2 that it's been impossible for G2 to get 2 consecutive touches. JNAPS, that had to go in. And instead, time will run out. G2 Esports, reverse swept, dropped to the lower bracket, and Rogue will play against Team Envy.
That is just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. How have G2 lost this series? I just don't even know. But, you know, Rogue clutched it up, to be fair to them. They've done extremely well, clutching 2 times in a row here. But this was just such an unnecessary loss of a lead. G2 were winning 1-0. There was really no pressure coming in from Rogue. They had, you know, a pretty dead ball in offense. And JNAPS is just charged in. He's left Rizzo completely alone in defense. He's left Rizzo alone on the goal line with 12 boost. And then when the ball comes across, everybody's going to say, what on earth is Rizzo doing? He's just missed the ball, but he couldn't get there. He only had 12 boosts. It's just so unnecessary for G2 to lunge in like this with, you know, a couple of players in the back corner. A shame to see them go down like this, but credit to Rogue. They did not play well today, but they managed to beat G2 anyway. That's pretty ridiculous. You know, the amount of times that they hit the crossbar, the amount of times the first killer was making such uncharacteristically bad plays in defense, and they still get the win. Really, really bizarre series. But yeah, Rogue advance, top 4 in the upper bracket for them. G2 having another one of those days, Shogun.
And when we come back after break, we've got a massive match when it comes to major qualifications. Loco and the Pittsburgh Knights. It's a lower bracket matchup. Loser is out, and you can probably kiss their chances to the major goodbye. You do not want to miss that one, as it has huge ramifications.